So if you're like most people, when you look in the bathroom mirror and bare your teeth, you're probably just checking for a cavity.
Right. Or just checking your smile.
Yeah, seeing if your smile is bright.
Mm.
But the stack of clinical and dental research we're diving into today shows that, well, that mirror is actually reflecting the control center for your entire body.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at how the oral microbiome dictates systemic health.
It's a really massive shift. We basically have to stop thinking about reactive cleaning and, start thinking about proactive ecological management.
Right, ecological management. I mean, looking at these sources, I'm kind of struggling to bridge the gap here. How do we go from tooth plaque, which is just something I brush away, to like heart disease or joint pain?
Well, it comes down to two primary pathways, really. The hematogenous and enteral routes. So think of your gums as a highly vascularized border.
Okay, a border, right.
Exactly. And when oral dysbiosis happens, pathogens like Porphyromonas gingivalis actually breach that tissue. They either slip directly into your bloodstream, which is the hematogenous route.
Oh, so hematogenous just means they're using the bloodstream like a highway?
Yes, exactly like a highway. Or alternatively, they're swallowed, they somehow survive your stomach acid, and then they enter your gut. And that's the enteral route.
Wow, okay. So it's kind of like the mouth is a leaky bouncer at a nightclub, just letting bad actors sneak past the velvet rope down into the gut.
That is a great way to put it, yeah.
But wait, if that's the case, shouldn't we just use, like, the harshest mouthwashes available? Just totally nuke the entire club and be done with it?
I mean, you'd think so, but wiping out the entire microbiome actually destroys the symbiotic, healthy bacteria, too.
Oh, the good guys.
Right, and those are the ones that protect your systemic health. So the goal isn't total annihilation.
Right, so if we can't nuke the mouth, we need something more like a bacterial sniper rifle or something.
Mm-hmm.
Did the sources mention anything that targeted?
Yeah, they did. And they point to something surprisingly natural, which is cranberries.
Wait, really? Cranberries?
Yeah, cranberries. Specifically, they contain these plant compounds called A-type PACs. And these act as virulence attenuating agents?
Virulence attenuating. So wait, they aren't actually killing the bacteria?
No, they just disarm them. These compounds essentially prevent the bacteria from synthesizing sticky glucans.
Oh, so without those glucans, they can't stick to things.
Right, they can't adhere to your teeth, so they're still alive, but they just can't stick around to cause any harm.
That is wild. And I was reading this section on xylitol right after that, and it sounds like once the bacteria are disarmed, xylitol literally tricks them into starving themselves.
It does, yeah. It creates what researchers actually call a feudal energy cycle.
A feudal energy cycle. That sounds rough.
It is for the bacteria. The Streptococcus mutans bacteria ingest the xylitol, right, thinking it's just a normal fermentable carbohydrate, but they completely lack the enzymes to metabolize it.
Oh, man, so they just waste all their energy trying to process it.
Exactly. They burn all their energy, get absolutely zero nutritional reward, and eventually just starve.
Wow. Okay, so xylitol stops the acid attacks by starving the bad guys. But what about the acid damage that's already been done to the teeth? How do we fix that?
Right. That's where we need to rebuild. And that brings us to nano-hydroxyapatite in the research. It's basically a biomimetic mineral.
Biomimetic meaning it mimics the natural tooth structure.
Exactly. It mimics the primary structural component of your natural tooth enamel. And because of its microscopic size, it deeply and safely remineralizes teeth.
So it works better than what we usually use.
Yeah, it actually achieves a more homogeneous repair deep within the lesion compared to, say, traditional fluoride.
That's super interesting. And, to keep that newly rebuilt ecosystem balanced, the sources really validate some physical routines for you to try, too.
Oh, definitely. The mechanical side is huge.
Yeah, like the data on tongue scraping is wild. Says it physically removes 75% of the literal gases that cause severe bad breath.
Right, compared to just 45% with a standard toothbrush.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. Why is it so much better?
Well, think about the physical mechanism there. A toothbrush really just moves the bacteria around the tiny crevices of your tongue. But a solid scraper acts like a squeegee on a window. It physically lifts the biofilm away.
The squeegee effect.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes total sense. And the research also highlighted oil pulling, which I have to admit, I always thought was just kind of a wellness trend.
A lot of people do, but swishing the oil actually creates saponification.
Saponification, like making soap.
Literally, yes. It turns oral fats into a cleansing soap that physically traps the bacteria right there in the mouth.
Wow, so it actually holds up clinically. And the same goes for neem essential oil, right?
Yeah, Neem is incredible. The sources show it has these bioactive compounds that completely disrupt the biofilm architecture.
So it breaks down those protective walls the bacteria build.
Exactly. It breaks them down so well that it's proven potent enough to destroy antibiotic-resistant biofilms, even on, like, hospital surgical equipment.
On surgical equipment. That is insane. So upgrading your daily routine with, a tongue scraper, biomimetic minerals, and targeted botanicals, it's clearly about way more than just having fresh breath.
Oh, absolutely. You are actively managing an ecosystem.
An ecosystem that, as we've seen, basically dictates your overall long-term health.
It really does. Everything is connected.
Which brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought for you to explore. If oral pathogens like P. gingivalis can actively migrate to the gut and your joints to trigger systemic inflammation.
Right, which is a massive leap from just gum disease.
Exactly. Could the future of treating complex autoimmune or neurodegenerative illnesses eventually begin not in a doctor's office, but right there in the dentist's chair?
That is definitely something to chew on.
Definitely. So next time you look in that bathroom mirror, remember, you aren't just looking at a smile. You're looking at the control center for your entire body.